Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet. It is Wednesday, it is June the 4th, and it is the first game of the Stanley Cup Final tonight. Yes, after 6 weeks off, we are now going to get back to it with the Stanley. It feels like it's been 6 weeks. It feels like it's been forever. Like, I've had the last couple days where I'm like, what? This feels like the off season. This feels like I should be throwing playlists together, should be the off season, but it's not. It's the Stanley Cup Final. So, let's start at the top of the board. We'll talk about a couple of signings. We'll get into a coach being hired as well. Brock Nelson has signed a 3-year extension with the Colorado Avalanche. It's a high cap hit, not going to lie, $7.5 million. If Nelson's able to play throughout this contract as he did this past season, it's not awful. But there is that aging process that does take place. I know there's jokes about Brock Nelson's appearance and how old he looks and everything, which I feel seen with that. I remember when I was 15 and being told by somebody I was, 20, 21 and this kind of thing. And it was like, no, I'm a youth. You are not. I had to pull out ID and everything. It was weird. I never thought I'd get told, you're not a youth, shut up. But anyways, I imagine Brock Nelson went through that same experience looking like he was, 40 when he was 15, probably in all likelihood. But at any rate, $7.5 million cap hit for Brock Nelson. It is pricey, but keep in mind that this year's depth at center with the unrestricted free agent market is not great. So you have a couple of high-profile centers, and then it tails off pretty quickly after that. So they bring Nelson back. I know Nelson didn't have a great statistical run after the trade from the Islanders, but keep in mind he had been a part of the Islanders organization for about 47 years. And going to a new team is completely different, and not every player just fits in right away and has no transition period. So with Nelson being there from training camp right through the full season, it could make a big difference for him. So all the best to Brock Nelson on that. Derek Forbert has signed an extension with the Canucks. This was announced yesterday. I didn't do a video just on that because that would have been weird. It's a $2 million extension. It's a little bit pricey for Forbert being a depth defenseman. I've seen some questions from Canuck fans about what this might mean for younger defensemen and everything, but I get it. You've got to have depth on the blue line. There are players who can go down to Abbotsford without having to clear waivers, and so we might just see some players down with Abbotsford early in the season. But we know it's Vancouver. Defensemen get hurt, so having extra defensemen is probably the best path to take. The Pittsburgh Penguins have ended their coaching search today. Kyle Dubas picking up Dan Muse, who Steve Dangle pointed out, and it was pointed out to him that there was some connection with the Chicago Steel. And Dan Muse had been a head coach for the Chicago Steel, and so this was a name that had been out there. He was an assistant coach with the Rangers for the last 2 years. Dan Muse, not Steve Dangle. So, yeah, Dan Muse, the new head coach. I'm just glad they didn't recycle a coach. I'm very happy they didn't recycle a coach. I think that's progress. I wish there were more NHL teams that would not just recycle coaches. And Vancouver's got Adam Foote now. So maybe we're starting to see a change. That we won't see so much coach recycling going on in the NHL. I'm dreaming. It's not going to happen. The Ted Lindsay Award was handed out today. Nikita Kucherov wins the Ted Lindsay Award. He was surprised by his teammates with this. It is the second time he's won it. What's interesting is, so he's been named the best player in the NHL by the NHLPA, which I put a lot of weight behind. I'm not saying the Hart's not like a really prestigious award as well, but when the players say, this is the toughest guy to play against, this is the best player in the game, you listen. The last time he won it was 2019, which was famously or infamously where Tampa loses in the first round against Columbus in 4, and this year they lost in the first round against Florida in 5. So it's one of those weird things that Kucherov's been awarded this twice, and on both occasions, Tampa's out early. But I talked about that in a video not too long ago, that there are jinxes that go beyond the President's Trophy jinx, and seeing how many award winners end up being out of the playoffs early is remarkable. It is absolutely remarkable how often a player will win an award, and then you look at the playoff results and you go, okay, he won those awards, but you end up not winning a Stanley Cup. Obviously, the Selke winner's still in the Stanley Cup final, so that's a good transition to us seeing if that Selke winner wins another Stanley Cup this year. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific start in Edmonton tonight. Florida and Edmonton getting at it. The Florida Panthers, Greer's out, Boquist is in. I don't notice a difference between the two when one's playing and the other isn't. So this is one of those things where Bill Zito has done a very good job of creating this team, and Paul Maurice has done a very good job of coaching this team. And so when a player comes out and another one goes in, you don't even notice the difference. Boquist has been very useful at times in these playoffs too. It's nice to have that kind of depth. Ekblad has also said that he wants to stay with the team. I don't blame him. I mean, wouldn't you? He was drafted first overall in 2014. He's been paid well by Florida, and he's been a pretty solid defenseman for them for a long time. So I will not be surprised to hear that they've come to a contract extension once this Stanley Cup final has reached its completion. Corey Perry, not intending to retire. I do wonder if that will change if the Oilers win this Stanley Cup. Going out with the Stanley Cup win, it's been done before in the NHL, and it's always really cool to see that. It is. I think it's the best way to retire, is you're Stanley Cup champion, you got that cup over your head, and then you tell the press after, I'm done, I'm good. Because that's the peak. That's the ultimate, that's the peak. It's all finished. Connor Brown is likely to play tonight for Edmonton, which we kind of already knew. Jeff Skinner, likely out. He's taking the extra time during practice with the guys who we know are going to be healthy scratches, so that tells you Skinner's likely out. Connor Brown's likely in. Good news for Edmonton there. Zach Hyman, kind of not great news with Zach Hyman in terms of his injury. So he dislocated his wrist and tore some ligaments in his wrist as well. Sounds extremely painful. And there's some uncertainty about whether or not he's going to be ready for training camp for the Edmonton Oilers. So having Zach Hyman out for Edmonton will definitely be a challenge in the Stanley Cup final against a Florida team that we know how much of a machine they've been in these playoffs. But Edmonton's won 12 out of their last 14 in these playoffs. They've kind of steamrolled their way to this final themselves. So we'll see if Hyman being out makes a big difference for Edmonton or not. I also wanted to throw out here, Sportsnet put up one of those AI videos where they de-age all the hosts to babies. I will never, in my entire lifetime, post a video that's AI of me de-aged to look like a baby. I just want to say that technology is genuinely creepy. I know. And the number of people that look at AI photos and think they're real. Yeah, people have 6 fingers. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I know that's a whole other tangent, but I felt like I had to say that here because that's how they did their preview on social media, is they posted all of the Sportsnet hosts de-aged as babies. It's creepy. It's weird. Like, I know there's people who find it funny, but it's just creepy and weird and wrong. It just feels wrong. Those poor AI babies. Anyways, the NHL's also announced that they now have an official partnership with Sony. They've been using Sony technology anyways with some of their NHL Edge stuff and some of the puck tracking. So it makes sense that they'll have an official partnership. It's a multi-year partnership as well. The eventual plan is the thing we've talked about, which is if the puck's in the net, we'll know. The trick is you need multiple sensors for that to be a thing, because at times it's underneath the goalie's pad. You can't see it. So there has to be multiple sensors that can say, yes, the puck is completely in the net, or no, it's not. But that is the eventual plan, and it sounds like they're going to add more technologies to things. So for those of us, myself included, that have felt like hockey's kind of starting to really look like a video game, the NHL seems to be leaning more towards that. And I understand they're trying to bring in younger eyeballs. I know why they're doing it. I wish there was a choice, that there was a choice when I'm deciding what I'm going to watch for a sports feed, that I can choose clean. That you had a clean choice where the boards, you don't have the digital boards, you don't have any of the, extra additional ad stuff. I would pay an extra $5 a month to watch the NHL if I didn't have to watch all that stuff. Honestly, maybe that's the plan. Maybe the plan is to just fill the broadcast with so many graphics and so much stuff that they'll say, hey, you tired of all the graphics and stuff? Extra $20 a month, you get rid of it. And it's the new NHL plan to make money. Sure, why not? So, their plan is to create and deliver more immersive content. So maybe the next time a player breaks his leg, you could be wearing a VR helmet and you feel that leg break. Anyway, hopefully not. But yeah, that's where we're headed. We're just getting closer to Black Mirror every day, and we're just, enjoying the ride. Anyways, AHL news from last night. The Charlotte Checkers have eliminated the Laval Rocket. Absolute shame, but Charlotte wins 3-2. They win in 4 straight. I only say absolute shame because I was really hoping this series would go on for a while as an Abbotsford fan. Now Charlotte gets to sit and wait as Abbotsford and Texas fight things out. Abbotsford's in Texas tonight, game 4. Abbotsford leads the series 2-1. I realized this too when I was putting this together, that if Texas wins another game here and forces a game 6, we're guaranteed to see the Calder Cup awarded in Abbotsford, no matter who wins it. So that's kind of fun. I really want to be there to see that. So I've got my fingers crossed that will in fact be the case, that I'll see the awarding of a Calder Cup. That would be honestly amazing. But getting ahead of myself, or no, that would be against Charlotte. Okay, wake up, Shannon. So if Abbotsford beats Texas, I would see them advance out of a series. I'd see the handshake line. There, that's what I'd see. And then hopefully I could see the awarding of the trophy. The nice thing with the Calder Cup is it's awarded after the Stanley Cup. So when the Stanley Cup playoffs are done, the Calder Cup will still be going on. So hopefully it's going on in Abbotsford, and I can provide you guys with all kinds of basically front row content. Say, here's what happened tonight, here's what I saw. And I would definitely take notes if that was the case. Just little like handwritten notes, but I would definitely take some notes just on players that impressed me or didn't, and plays and little things that happen. The one thing that I've always appreciated about being close to the action, like in last week's Abbotsford game, is just seeing that path to the net and how it gets closed off. So while the fans are chanting, shoot, shoot, I'm like, he's got nothing to shoot at. There's nothing there. It's really nicely shown to you if you're close to the action. It's one of the reasons why I tell people, if you want to get a better appreciation for the game, go to a lower level game. Go to an ECHL game tonight in Trois-Rivières. That's kind of a good transition, right? Trois-Rivières hosts Toledo. So this is game 3. Games 3, 4, and 5, all in Trois-Rivières. The series is currently tied at 1 game apiece. So we'll see if Trois-Rivières is able to get that 2-1 series lead, or if Toledo can get that 2-1 series lead. Toledo, obviously, if they can get this to 6 games, it goes right back to Toledo, whereas Trois-Rivières wants to win games 3, 4, and 5 at home, and then they don't have to worry about going back to Toledo. All right, that being said, now we're done. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. I was all excited about seeing the Calder Cup award, and I'm like, great, Charlotte, never mind. But anyways, it's one of those old guy things that you got to pick it out of your brain, and the other part of your brain goes, that's not right. This half of your brain is telling you the wrong information. But anyways, there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support as always. Hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always, and I will talk to you again soon.